Randy Robison here, Live Today TV, digital edition with a guy that if you don't know, you probably want to get to know him. He's bringing the cool back in Christianity, I'm just saying. Levi Lusko is here. He's got a book called Through the Eyes of a Lion, and we'll find out what that means. He's a pastor of Fresh Life Church in Montana, all of Montana. Hundreds of people.
All the 4 people that live in the state. Yeah, we get them all.
I'll leave that alone. I'd live up there if I could, man.
It's amazing.
Right? A river runs through it and all that cool stuff. So, okay, before I ask you some other questions, give us a little overview of the book. So
the book's all about how to see incredible power inside of impossible pain. And you can look at something but not see what's there. You can look at the sky in the daytime and not see the stars. You're looking at them, you just can't see them. So in the book, I want people to learn how to use the telescope of faith, the lens of faith, to look at what we see, but to see not what you can see with the naked eye, but what is invisibly there. Like 2 Corinthians 4 says, the invisible things that will last forever.
A lot of this coming out of your personal tragedy experience.
Yeah, so when my wife and I, in 2012, went through, honestly, the worst trial we'd ever could imagine ourselves going through. Our daughter was in kindergarten. Her picture's in the bottom here. She was a 5-year-old little girl named Linya, and it means lion. So we called her Linya Lion. Without notice or expectation or the chance to say goodbye, she went to heaven 5 days before Christmas. Just left this world after an asthma attack and went home.
God bless.
And you know, as you know, going through something like that, loss, it's incredibly difficult to go through. But
that's the worst, though. Honest to God, that's the worst.
Sure. But I'll tell you this, when we went through that, we were able to see heaven and see all these things that we've been able to read about in the Bible and preach about. Like, I like to say, and I say in the book, that everything we believed in the sunshine was proved true in the valley of the shadow of death. You know, because the thing about an anchor's no good until you throw it overboard and you can't see it. And when we were taken out of our sight, when we were taken through our nightmares, that's when heaven pulled hard on our hearts and held us up. And in those moments of panic and those moments of pain, not that they weren't hard or scary, but God proved in our hearts the work that would hold. And He gave us peace beyond understanding.
So you know what you're talking about.
Well, we've lived it in the fire.
Yeah, you sure have. Is there a website for the book?
Yeah, they could just go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble, but LeviLusko.com is the website.
So you got that little website there, okay. I want to ask about some other ministries, because I know you're going to talk about that, and if you want to hear more about that part of Levi's story, you can catch that on lifetoday.org, the broadcast show, where he's going to talk with my parents about that whole incident in more depth. But I wanted to part a little bit, because you guys are doing some really different and cool ministry things. So, Skull Church.
Yeah.
What in the heck is Skull Church?
That's a great question. So the Bible says that Jesus died on the cross at a place called Calvary. Now that's a word you're used to seeing.
Right.
You drive around town, you'll see Calvary Church or Lutheran Calvary or whatever, Calvary Church. And so we don't even blink at that. But did you know every time you see that, you're seeing Skull Church?
Yeah.
Skull Church. Because Calvary just means skull. It's Latin. So we don't blink at it anymore. So we decided to start an outreach called Skull Church to get the conversation going. Because what you just did is what everyone says.
Yeah.
What the heck is Skull Church?
Yeah.
People don't know that they've been looking at the word skull in the Latin. But when we explain, hey, did you know that Jesus died at a place called Skull Hill? And it was there that He died. And a skull is a symbol of death. But out of that death came life. The most beautiful thing that's ever happened at a place called Skull Hill. And so we started a ministry doing evangelism like your parents did starting out. We've gone around the country and just been trying to tell people about the greatest love story ever, but in a way that's kind of shocking and confrontational.
So you go into, these are events. This
We'll
is not
book
like
a theater,
location.
do an event, partner with local churches, and do kind of a couple night revival service or evangelistic service.
Music, drama,
Just
preaching?
music and preaching,
Music and preaching.
primarily. And then we've done really non-traditional art, so the graphics. Hurley, the surf company, did a lot of the design for us.
Nice.
And so it's stuff that you would see on the bottom of a skateboard, but it's trying to communicate the gospel.
And the results?
We've seen a lot of people give their hearts to Jesus.
Yeah.
Young kids cutting and stuff, finding hope, people who are on meth. I mean, just people who need to hear the gospel, a common person, you know?
A guy who, he's now pastoring down in Mississippi, used to be our associate pastor at our church, came from that background, and he basically said, I never knew that I needed Jesus until somebody told me. And for people like me who grew up in the church and go to church all the time and soaked in ministry, I think, how can you be an American and not hear the gospel?
Yep.
But what you're seeing is exactly that situation. You're going to places where kids that aren't told about Jesus, they don't grow up in a Christian home, they just hear something that
Or maybe
changes their
they've
lives.
heard it but never seen it lived out.
Yeah,
Maybe
could
their
be.
parents shoved it down their throat or something
Yeah.
they had to hear at church, but maybe
Sure.
no one's ever lived out the gospel to them,
Yeah.
loved them without wanting anything in return. And
So if somebody wants to do one of these events in their town,
yeah, you
Call
can
you
go to
guys.
schoolchurch.com or Fresh Life. We're willing to come, and we're trying to continue to go out and branch out. And
yeah, great evangelistic opportunity, very cool. O2 conferences,
Yeah.
what is that?
That's so near to my heart. My wife and I, 12 years ago, started doing an event called the O2 Experience, geared at reaching out with a fresh perspective on life, death, sex, and romance. It's the gospel, and then the message about what God plans for our relationships, our love lives, dating, and how to approach living out this volatile part of our life that is dating and romance in a world where the culture says so much
Yeah.
that's contrary to our best interest.
Yeah, so you're going into environments, because I guess I have two adult kids now and 2 teenage kids,
Yeah.
but all in that, and I'm like, because the messages that they're being sent.
Oh, and the porn and the Tinder and all this stuff.
that
and,
stuff.
And I think that we misunderstand that when God says no, what he's saying is, I have something so much better for you.
Yeah,
and I think
yeah.
people mistakenly think that God's out to get us and take something from us, but
Right.
God's plans are for our sex lives to be powerful and full of pleasure. And when we take what he told us not to touch, it can keep him from being able to give us what he actually wants us to have.
Which is better than,
Much better.
right, the alternative.
I guarantee you. And it's not just consequences, it's also the potential power. You know, when we take the substitute, like Esau, who sold his birthright for a bowl of soup, he got pleasure for a night, but then loss of power for a lifetime. And
Wow.
what can happen? Like Samson, when we, for an evening with Delilah, get a buzz cut, you know?
right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And again, these are things that travel, or
Yeah, so we're doing a 9-city tour this year. We've taken it all over the country for the last 12 years. And I actually have another book coming out through Thomas Nelson later in 2017 on that topic.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Separate website or Fresh Life?
LeviLusko.com.
LeviLusko.com.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure I'm keeping up
But
on
the
this.
book's called Swipe Right. Yeah, the next book.
This is called what?
Swipe Right.
Swipe right. What
Yeah,
does
like
that
on
mean?
Tinder. Swipe left if you like someone, swipe right if you don't.
Oh,
Or
see, man,
vice
see,
versa.
all these
Yeah.
millennial stuff going
Come
on.
on.
Cool stuff. All right, what else? Anything else going on that I'm missing? That you're
Oh,
doing?
man, I got a new poodle named Tabasco. Is that okay?
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're allergic to dogs in my house, so we had to get a poodle. But its name's Tabasco.
Because I've always contended that poodles aren't dogs, so I'm glad you can confirm that.
Well, my poodle is a dog, and he is my friend.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Taking the West by storm. How many
Having
campuses do
fun.
you have across Montana?
So we're about to open up our 6th and 7th this summer. Yeah.
In Montana or outside? Because I
Well,
know you're going.
Salt Lake City,
Salt
Utah,
Lake, okay.
and then we're in Billings, Bozeman, Kalispell, Missoula, and Whitefish,
Nice.
and then Helena. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Check out Levi. Check out his new book, Through the Eyes of a Lion, and good stuff here. And if any of those things you thought, hey, that sounded kind of cool, we could use that in my town, go to LeviLusko.com, call him up. He's got a heart for God. He's going to help you reach your town in whatever area, whether it's with the Skull Church or with an O2 conference. Be a part. Good stuff. And again, check him out when he's on Life Today, lifetoday.org. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button because we want to let you know about all the great videos from Life Today.